This is the game I played 12 days ago against Deen Hergott. Coming into this game, we were tied. I think it's 15 or 17 games apiece in our tournament record. That means we've played 30 or 34 times prior to this game in tournaments. And there's also, yeah, so there's a lot of pressure on both of us who's going to win this game. Um, and I was first. Deen was having a really bad tournament. I was having a really good tournament. I was 7-0 coming into this 8th game. And this is my opening rack. So I exchanged down to EP. And I actually have Dean's racks here. He has UUOIPEN. And he exchanged down to EN. I drew into this. And I can play Peeler or Perea. I can exchange again. I can play longer. I decided to play Perea. I think this is fine. The plays are quite close in this position. This rack is Dean's, and he played Neb. Might be a bit better to play off a second E here, or a second vowel, but Neb seems fine. I had this rack, and this was a very interesting position. I really had some nice overlapping plays here, and I also had Donegal. But I had logged, lagged, daggle, gauged, gauged here, just gag. And the thing about all these plays, except Pedagogue is not a good play. The thing about all these plays here is they severely restrict the board. Logged and lagged allow some plays on the J column and plays on the second row. But something like gauged here, it's extremely hard to make a play after this play. And so I really, really liked what this did to the board. And although Donegal, I did spot this for 36, it keeps a G, and it also opens the board rather than closes it. So I decided to actually sacrifice some points and play gauge for 29. And if we run a little bit of a simulation here, just look at my play. Just very quickly, it'll show you. I might be lagging a little bit because I'm running the simulation. But opponent's average score is under 20 points. Under 20 points. How often do you see this? And I'll tell you, it's not often at all. It's extremely rare to see the engine spout out this under 20 number. The board has to be so closed for this to be true. So I really, really loved the defense that this play made. And that's pretty much the only play that I'll like analyze this game, because it was just so nice to just completely destroy the board. Anyways, Deen, after a very, very, very long think, had Teenier on his rack, and the only thing he could do basically was play Renej. He could also play like DEE or something down here, but his plays suck. All of his plays suck. He played Renej, which is really, really interesting and daring, and I loved this play because it not only forked the board, it also created a huge threat. If I don't have an R or a D or an S, I can't do anything about this spot, really. And Reneg is what people want me to pronounce it, but that I refuse. Oh wow, Toluel, I didn't see that. Teenager. Anyways, after a long think myself, I didn't see any real way of dealing with this spot without opening something as well. I played Guyot thinking, okay, he's played 3 tiles. He obviously didn't have the hooks himself. Otherwise, it's a double-double. He'll score extra points for it, a lot of points. So I decided to get rid of my G, but it might be better to play toluol here. It's a very odd looking word. It's kind of hard to see. You can also take the U off, I'm pretty sure. But I played Guyot, and I was like, oh my god, if he hits me on this spot, I'm going to be tilted. Very, very tilted. Instead, Deen plays Ovine for 18 here. Yeah, Talil. It's a very, very tough word to spot. And so he plays Ovine, actually blocking his own spot because he didn't draw into a play there, and he knows now that I'm very likely to have drawn a letter that fits there. So he sets up an S. He's still behind, so that makes sense. I draw into shill. I take away the S hook. And then he plays win. And I'm just like, oh my god, this guy is throwing everything at me. He's played Renege. He's played Ovine, like so aggressive these plays. And I was really enjoying this game. Turns out he had 2 W's and was just trying to set up his T a little bit for later. But he didn't like anything in this position. And yeah, his letters kind of suck. So I did have a T. Yeah, uninterrupted. I did have a T, so I could have like used my T to play Matza for 55. There are also some plays that I could have made, just like Tam. But I decided, let's go. Let's have some fun. Leave the hook open. Play ads, which is just points and leave. MNT blank is going to bingo a huge amount of the time. However, you see here, there's only 5 E's left. So it's possible that I'm gonna screw up like the entire game by playing this because I don't have an E. Maybe he's gonna have an E, a huge play there. But I thought it was worth the risk. Deen plays twice, keeping AO. That seems pretty good. He could keep his T. It's probably a bit better to play Owie and keep the T and try to draw into a play on the top row. Twice is a good play. And this was my rack. Let me alphabetize it here. That's not quite alphabetized. So what would you do in this position? Yeah, it's true. He did get to play twice, which is not usually allowed. So there are a couple things that you can find in this position that are very good for the position. And one of those things is a play on the first row. So you might end up seeing motif fitting here, which is a really, really great play. 40 points, keeps the blank, gets rid of the threat here. And also maybe later you can draw the right tiles to play light motif, which would be even cooler. But I kept looking and I found a really, really nice play of formation. 76 points. Thank you for CEL, Common English Words, the Common English Lexicon that WTF worked so hard on. I would never have seen this common word if it weren't for that. So formation comes down and I'm like, I'm feeling good, guys, about this game. Yeah, so Deen plays Ejido, keeping EAU, and yeah, his day isn't getting any better here. Let's just say. I drew 2 T's, and I decided to play Truant. Actually, it might be slightly better to play Mutant, but Truant is probably fine. Yeah, Truant looks pretty good. Now I'm feeling very good because this was bugging me Gerchi, thank you for gifting a sub to Axer Typo. I wonder who Axer Typo is. Much appreciated. Thank you. Why was there no sound? Oh, because we don't have the alerts here. Oops, I should have transported the alerts. Hold on. I'll play the alert at the end of the stream. Yeah, thank you for gifting the streamer a sub. Okay. Much appreciated, Gerchi. Trying to get through this game. So what comes next? He plays. So I play Truant. And then Deen plays Coma. There you go. Deen played Coma, keeping L-A-U-I-E, I think. No, L-A-U-E was his leave. So again, Deen is relying on setting up his own spots, setting up the letters that he has on his rack, which is a really, really good strategy. Just Funzo. It's a really good strategy to utilize the letters on your rack to set yourself up for next turn, but it's also double-edged because your opponent might have letters too. For example, Coma takes an S, an L, and an E. There aren't many E's left, and Deen is down 120 points, so this is definitely a play that he should make. He has the L and the E, and he needs to try and bingo next turn here, but it can also just backfire, and now he's completely lost here. I play Feta to get rid of the spot, and there's pretty much no way he can come back, or is there? Plays XU for 52, and now he's only down 87 points, which is still a lot, but it's workable. And yeah, I just keep the scoring pressure on. I can play Plinth. I didn't actually see that. That might be fine. It does set up a lot of lanes that Deen can use to come back. I played Few, but Plinth might be good there instead. Deen played Yuga, and I drew the Q. But luckily there was one spot. This would be a great puzzle. Oh, actually it wouldn't be. Keebla is almost as good as QI. So this wouldn't be a puzzle on Wiggles Puzzles mode. So QI comes down for 31, and the game is just over. Oh yeah, what did he have with this? L-E-I-O. And then Louis, he had O-R. So he plays Louis. And now there's 7 in the bag exactly. And you know what that means. 14 unseen tiles, 7 on Deen's rack, 7 in the bag. And what can we do in this situation, which is a very rare but really, really interesting and sometimes extremely important strategic play to make that you very rarely see. But it's only when there is exactly 7 in the bag that you can do this. Exchange 7. So we know that the rule in tournament Scrabble and in over the board Scrabble is you can exchange your letters so long as there are 7 or more letters in the bag. That is the rule. That is the rule we follow. And I think it's the rule written on the box too. So because there are still 7 left, what I can do here is exchange all of my letters, and what that does is I draw everything that is in the bag, and then the 7 remaining letters that again I've been tracking on my sheet, I know exactly that my opponent has those 7 letters. So because of this, I'm able to play as if I know exactly what's going on. I have such good information about what's unseen and what remains. I know exactly what I've thrown in, and I know what my opponent has. Once they make a play, I'm not exactly sure what they have. I know a few letters that they have, but not all of them. And this allows me to just work things out. And it's especially valid strategy when you're winning the game no matter what. The only way that I could possibly lose this game is if Deen gets 2 bingos. And now you might say, well, wait, why are you then leaving 7 letters in the bag? So if he plays a bingo, he can bingo again. Well, he's not bingoing with these 7 letters. There's no way in 7 hells that he's bingoing with BINNCLV. So there's 0 risk to this play in this specific instance. He can bingo once, and then he's going to have my crappy letters that I left behind for him. So this is a really fun strategy that you might be able to employ sometimes, but don't employ it every time. It's great to have this information, this extra information about what your opponent has, but only do it when your letters are really bad and there are good letters to be found as well. I think this strategy is best employed when you're behind, and you really need to draw that blank or those S's and those E's to bingo. So this is what I did, exchange 7. It doesn't even appear here, but it's such a good play. And Deen actually bingos after a while. I knew what he had. I knew that he had this exact rack, and I saw this bingo. I'm like, okay, he's gonna bingo if he sees this, and he's gonna draw the letters I had, so no problem there. So yeah, saviors, suaris, sailors, satori. Good play by Deen, but it's not good enough. Now I know exactly what he has, so I have this ADIKRRS, and yeah, it's the end game. And so I'm going to run the endgame machine. The shortest steals are invincible. Nice. So the shortest letter with the shortest word with all of these 7 letters in it is invincible. All right, so Cora's is the play here. I think I was not 100% sure that was a word. I played dorks. So that's a small mistake in the end game. I played dorks. Deen plays BI, his best play, and I go out with irate. So that's the game, folks. 425, 325, a nice exactly 100-point win. Yeah, this is a very interesting game in the beginning, but I was able to make it out alive after all of Deen's monster setup plays. I drew that first blank, and I was able to bingo, and I just didn't look back after that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Those that are unfamiliar with Scrabble, Scrabble game analysis, I hope that was enjoyable for you. It was a bit rushed, but I hope I can bring more of that to you guys in the future. And of course, I'll stay for a couple more minutes if anybody has any questions about what I was doing, about any of the plays. I'm happy to answer a couple of those before I end the stream.